If you want greatness, you need to practice. You need to prepare. You need to refine your skills over and over again until they become second nature. It's about maintaining exceptionally high standards, so when the time comes, your efforts appear effortless. They say leaders aren't born, they're made. And that's true. The Stoic philosophers, particularly Marcus Aurelius, didn't become great because of their innate talent. They became great because of the principles they adhered to, the books they read, and the mentors who guided them. Leadership isn't about being naturally gifted. It's about growth, discipline, and learning from those who came before. One of the most striking examples of this is Marcus Aurelius's relationship with his stepbrother, Lucius Verus. Lucius was not an extraordinary figure. He didn't stand out with any remarkable traits. But Marcus, recognizing that everyone has something to contribute, chose to see the best in him. Upon ascending the throne, Marcus shared his power, making Lucius co-emperor. This was unheard of. Absolute power was typically a path to corruption, yet Marcus defied that expectation. Marcus didn't just tolerate his stepbrother. He found ways to work together, to get the best out of Lucius, even if he wasn't an ideal ruler in the traditional sense. This speaks volumes about Marcus's leadership style. He didn't demand perfection from others, but held himself to the highest possible standards. His leadership was about collaboration, understanding, and playing to people's strengths. Even with people who didn't seem to have the potential to shine, Marcus knew that the right guidance could yield great results. This is a crucial lesson for anyone in a leadership position. Great leaders don't expect everyone to be perfect, but they work to bring out the best in each person, leveraging their strengths for the greater good. Marcus's approach wasn't about finding flaws in others, but recognizing their potential and guiding them to success. But leadership isn't just about doing, it's about thinking. General James Mattis, a 4-star Marine Corps general, carried Marcus's meditations with him during deployments because he understood the value of reflection. In a world that's constantly noisy, leaders need to carve out time for stillness. They need to be able to zoom out, reflect, and process their thoughts before taking action. Without that ability, leaders risk reacting impulsively rather than responding thoughtfully. Marcus Aurelius's meditations are a testament to this practice. They are essentially his personal reflections, notes he wrote to himself to better understand his thoughts, decisions, and challenges. Great leaders do the same. They pause, reflect, and then act with clarity. This kind of mental discipline is what separates effective leaders from the rest. If you're not cultivating stillness and space for reflection, you're missing a key component of leadership. Think of it like this. Even Winston Churchill, known for his seemingly impromptu remarks, spent years perfecting his speeches. What appeared to be natural genius was, in fact, meticulously crafted preparation. That's the secret. Greatness doesn't just happen. It's earned through consistent effort, practice, and an unyielding commitment to improvement. So if you want to lead, if you want to achieve greatness, don't expect it to come easily. It's about embracing the grind, practicing, preparing, refining. That's what will make you truly exceptional. It's almost hard to believe that the remarkable insights in Marcus Aurelius' meditations were once just the private musings of an emperor. After crossing out countless drafts and refining his thoughts over decades, what we now have is a distilled collection of his deepest wisdom, a culmination of years of experience. The brilliance of these writings lies not in their perfection, but in their raw, honest reflections on leadership and life. If you want to be truly great, the first step is relentless practice. Greatness doesn't come overnight. It requires constant preparation, review, and a commitment to high standards. Only when you have honed your skills to perfection does it begin to look effortless. This is how true mastery is achieved, through continuous self-improvement, day in and day out. Imagine, for a moment, the weight of being an emperor. Marcus Aurelius, responsible for a vast empire, was constantly faced with bad news, crises, rebellions, and difficult decisions. But when we look at his writings, we see a man who, despite these challenges, remained calm and composed. The Stoic principle of being like the rock amidst crashing waves is one that Marcus lived by. His wisdom teaches us that true leadership demands emotional control, especially in high-stakes situations. It's not about suppressing emotion, but rather learning not to react impulsively, to maintain a sense of calm, so you can respond with clarity and purpose. This leadership quality is not only important in the grander schemes of empire, but also in our everyday lives. Think of John F. Kennedy during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He exemplified the rock metaphor by remaining unflustered, allowing time for reflection before making his decisions. As leaders, we too must resist knee-jerk reactions and instead respond from a place of reason and wisdom. A powerful story of leadership comes from the reign of Emperor Hadrian. On one of his provincial tours, Hadrian was approached by a woman in the crowd who demanded his attention. Despite being busy and weighed down by his responsibilities, Hadrian initially tried to brush her off. However, the woman, seeing his refusal to engage, shouted, "Then stop being emperor." And Hadrian did just that. He stopped, listened, and addressed her concerns. This moment of humility shows that leadership means taking responsibility, not just in the big decisions, but also in the small ones. When you choose to lead, you choose to serve. Marcus Aurelius, despite often feeling the heavy burden of leadership, accepted it with grace. He knew that with the privileges of power came the responsibility to serve others. This sense of duty was instilled in him by his stepfather, Antoninus, who spent nearly 2 decades preparing Marcus for his role as an emperor. This kind of leadership is not about self-interest or seeking praise. It's about recognizing the duty to those you lead and striving to be your best for them. The idea that we can learn from Marcus Aurelius is not just about reading his meditations once and moving on. It's about rereading them year after year and allowing the wisdom to sink in deeper each time. Former President Bill Clinton, for example, made it a point to revisit Marcus' writings annually. Imagine if every leader, every parent, every person in a position of power took the time to reflect on Marcus Aurelius' teachings. The world would be far better off. Marcus built his leadership philosophy around 4 core Stoic virtues: courage, discipline, justice, and wisdom. These were his guiding principles, the bedrock of his leadership. He believed that if you could live by these virtues, you had the potential to overcome any obstacle that came your way. "The obstacle is the way" is not just a motivational phrase, it's a profound truth. Every challenge, every setback is an opportunity to embody one of these virtues and grow stronger as a leader. Meditations was never intended for publication. It wasn't a self-help book or a memoir for public acclaim. It was, in fact, a deeply personal journal, written not for others, but for Marcus himself. He used it as a tool for self-reflection and personal growth, wrestling with his shortcomings, his frustrations, and his doubts. Each passage was an attempt to become the person philosophy had taught him to be. The genius of Marcus Aurelius lies not in his perfection, but in his continual striving toward it. He understood that leadership is not about being flawless. It's about being willing to confront your weaknesses, learn from them, and grow. And in that sense, Meditations is more than just a book of philosophical wisdom. It's a testament to the daily, relentless effort required to lead with integrity, courage, and wisdom. If we adopt even a fraction of his mindset, we too can become better leaders in our own lives. Leadership isn't just about making decisions in the heat of the moment. It's about preparation and self-reflection. A truly great leader takes the time to engage in a daily practice of journaling, not to vent frustrations or blame others, but to reflect on personal values and principles. This quiet process of writing allows them to step back and get some distance from their own thoughts, creating space for clarity and insight. Journaling, whether done in the morning or at night, serves as a calming ritual that grounds us. It allows us to focus and refocus on our purpose, which in turn strengthens our ability to lead effectively. In the context of leadership, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations stands as a powerful guide. His reflections were not just personal musings, they were strategic leadership tools. The Stoics teach us that leadership isn't about avoiding adversity, but embracing it. Marcus faced unimaginable challenges: plague, war, fires, betrayals, and yet he maintained an unwavering focus on using these obstacles as opportunities to practice virtue. He famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every challenge, every difficult person, was a chance for Marcus to demonstrate patience, resilience, and wisdom. As leaders, we often face moments that test our patience. The key is not to shy away from these challenges, but to see them as chances to improve ourselves. Whether it's dealing with a difficult colleague, a setback in a project, or an unexpected crisis, these are the moments that define our character. Take a page from Marcus. When faced with betrayal or failure, instead of lashing out, find a constructive way to respond. This is what true leadership looks like, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth and strength. Think of how businesses had to shift during the COVID-19 crisis. Suddenly, things they thought were far-off goals became immediate priorities. Companies had to adapt, innovate, and take risks they'd never imagined. And many emerged stronger for it. This is the essence of the obstacle is the way. In leadership, the ability to see opportunity in adversity can make the difference between survival and success. The greatest leaders are those who rise to the challenge, who don't just survive crises but grow stronger through them. The Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, a mental exercise where you imagine worst-case scenarios before they happen. This isn't about being pessimistic, it's about preparing for the inevitable difficulties life will throw at you. It's about understanding that setbacks are not failures, they are simply part of the process. Leaders who engage in this mental practice are better equipped to handle stress, make clearer decisions under pressure, and avoid being caught off guard. Marcus Aurelius embodied this principle throughout his reign, and his leadership continues to inspire us today. He didn't get the reign he envisioned, but he made the best of the reign he had, turning adversity into a lasting legacy. His story reminds us that true leadership isn't about smooth sailing, it's about how you steer the ship when the storm hits. Great leaders don't simply react to challenges, they anticipate them. They don't wait for things to go wrong. They mentally rehearse every possible obstacle and consider how they would respond. This type of preparation allows them to stay calm, make rational decisions, and lead with confidence, no matter the circumstances. In short, leadership requires not just action but reflection. It's about integrating our daily challenges into a larger strategy, seeing obstacles as pathways to growth, and developing a mindset that turns adversity into advantage. Just as Marcus Aurelius turned his leadership challenges into opportunities to practice virtue, so can we turn every difficulty in our lives into an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more effective leaders.